Here's the acidification thing that you asked about earlier. Acidification, by definition, is the process of becoming acid or being converted into an acid. Ocean acidification means turning the ocean into an acid. That's what acidification means. But the oceans are not acid. They are strongly alkaline. Their pH is about about 8.2. Neutral would be 7. So what's the possibility for changing that? The allegation is that because there's more CO2 in the atmosphere, that's going to put more CO2 in the oceans. And at the same time, they're saying that CO2 is causing it to become warmer. At the present time, we've already looked at these numbers. The amount of CO2 in the atmosphere the change is so small, 8/1000ths of 1% changed in the atmosphere. And the volume of the oceans is about 300 million cubic miles. And we're going to change that from a strongly alkaline solution to an acid with this 8/1000ths of 1% change in CO2. Not possible. There aren't enough CO2 atoms in the atmosphere to do that. And in fact, just the opposite is happening. As you saw earlier, the effect of global warming is to make the oceans more alkaline, not more acidic, because warming drives CO2 out of the oceans. Even though there's more CO2 in the atmosphere, because the temperature is warmer, the ocean is giving up CO2, not taking it in. It's a CO2 that makes carbonic acid that makes it less alkaline or tending toward more acidic. So with less CO2 in the oceans, it's not as acidic. It's as simple as that. The chemistry 101, does not add up to the claim that the oceans are becoming acid.
I have a quick question for you on that slide also, and Senator Ranker does as well, I believe. So you would even say that they aren't even becoming less alkaline? I guess that
we don't really know, because what I can tell you is that this is the equation for the pH of ocean water, and don't try to understand this. I'll explain it. If you add CO2 to water, you get carbonic acid, and that releases hydrogen, which is what changes the acidity. So that's the basic formula. Seawater can hold more CO2 than cold water than warm water can. So as warming occurs, what's going to happen is it's going to drive the equation in the wrong direction. It's going to drive CO2 out of the oceans, not take more CO2 into it. And the amount of CO2 that's added to the atmosphere in terms of volume is so minute, there aren't enough carbon dioxide atoms to convert 300 million cubic miles of seawater into an acid. It's as simple as that.
One other follow-up. Our local shellfish growers have been talking to us quite extensively about the inability to raise some of their shellfish in the Puget Sound waters. And as they measure, I guess they're seeing a move towards becoming less alkaline, a move towards a more acidic. So what if it's not the ocean and CO2 causing, what could be the causes for that they're seeing?
That could well be true, because what we know is that the ocean is not going to become acidic. We know that for sure. It may become slightly less alkaline, but there's no reason for that to occur. Locally, because of the pollution that we're putting into Puget Sound, that may be making Puget Sound more acidic, which has nothing to do with the global seawater. It's a local regional effect by the stuff we put into the Puget Sound. So they may well be correct that the water where the oysters are living might be more acidic. But I can tell you it's not because of global warming or CO2. It's because of some local or regional pollution of the area.
And just really, I guess, acidification, I guess, is kind of a term of art. I'm not sure if it's how it's utilized, but even in that situation, we're not becoming acid, we're becoming less
alkaline.
Less alkaline.
You're never going to get to acid, never.
You're trending this direction, but you're not going to cross over that point to where you're okay.
That's right.
Thank you. I think that helps explain that term to a lot of people also about ocean acidification, what it means in terms of locally here also. Senator Ranker.
You actually asked, Mr. Chair, thank you. My former question, you've raised another one, however, which is, so would you say, so let me ask clearly. So the oceans are not becoming more acidic.
I didn't say that. I said that you're not going to make the oceans acid, and the total range of variability of pH in the ocean varies from about 8.2 to 7.9 in a transect area in the ocean, which is greater than most of the changes in any given site.
At any scale, are the oceans becoming more acidic?
No.
Okay, and then,
Because acidic means it's an acid. To make it more acidic means it making more acid than it was, which by definition is a non sequitur.
okay, and then my second question that came out of the chair's question then is, so locally where we are seeing ocean acidification, whether that's the right term or not, according to your information, I'm not sure, but
Less alkaline would make me
less
happier.
alkaline. Okay, so less alkaline. So we're not just seeing that in Washington State. I'm working with colleagues in Maine, Maryland, California, Oregon, Alaska particularly. Alaska, who has significantly less population than us, and most of the watersheds are not running out of agricultural lands or other areas or pollutants. They're running out of relatively pristine areas. So is the impact there also from some sort of pollution?
I think it probably not would be my guess. I don't know that because I don't know the numbers you're looking at. I'd have to look at the numbers to tell you if there's a difference between some regional effect like pollution in Puget Sound or whether there is a water temperature. The principal governing factor is water temperature. And in places where you have upwelling, where there is cold water coming up to the surface. Cold water can hold more CO2 than warm water, and so that might actually be causing it to become a bit less alkaline than before. And in that case, it's a regional thing, not pollution.
Thank you.